Rosy Hardy Gardening. I am here in the Kedder house and it's the time to start sowing seeds. So we are going to show how I sow some of the seeds that were collected in one of the previous videos. So do remember to look back at other videos that we do, and please do subscribe to the channel. So we're set up here to do seed, and I'm doing it close up, really to make sure that you can see what I'm actually doing. I've already prepared and filled up some of the seed trays and pots ready to go, and I've got the seed that was clean and is ready to use. Now the only thing I haven't done with the seed tray is I haven't tapped it down, and you can see at the moment there's a bit of a bow here and it's not down in the corner like this. So really what you want to do is you want to spread it out. These things that I use, these shovels, plastic shovels, they're actually sweetie shovels or bits and pieces. So you just want to make sure that you get it into the corners properly and then literally press it down. Now you will also notice that I haven't got my compost right to the top level with the actual seed tray, and there's a reason behind that. One is that you're going to put a covering over the top of this of vermiculite, and if you don't know what vermiculite is, this is your vermiculite, and that's what we're going to cover the top of our seed with. And then we are going to spread our seed really quite nicely over the top of here. Now you will remember me saying I don't like the use of putting seed into your hand. We're going to be doing Cephalaria alpina, and all I'm going to do, because this is a paper bag, I'm actually going to just make a little funnel in the bag, and then I'm going to direct the seed down that funnel, and I'm then going to spread it very, very carefully across the compost like this, so that it is all very evenly sown around in here. We'll get a little bit more. So whenever you see there's a little bit where you haven't got as much seed, then that's fine. Tap out the last few seeds, and as you can see, the seed is now through here really, really nice and evenly across this. So that is a Cephalaria alpina, one label. The label goes in, and it's much easier if your label goes slightly like this to the side, because then you don't knock it and flick it out of the actual area. Now this is where this lip and the amount that we have left free comes into play, because you need to put a good covering of the vermiculite over the top of the seed, and you don't want that billowing out over the edge, especially when you water. Now I tend not to water or soak the compost first. I do that after I have done the sowing. So now you can see there is a really good depth of vermiculite there. It's no good just putting a tiny little scattering on. Does absolutely no good whatsoever. Another tap like so, and then that is ready to be watered. Then we've got the other seeds that we have got. So again, with the pots, I have left this depth here, because the other thing that it does help is that when you water, your seed doesn't go straight over the lip out of the actual pot. So again, we've got the Baptisia here. This is Baptisia australis. This is quite large seed. So you can, if you don't find it easy to get the seed and it all comes out in a big lump, and sometimes one or two get stuck in the bottom of your pieces of paper, you can take a pencil and you can just, or a dibber, and you can just scatter the seed so it's slightly more at a distance from each other like this, and then that works really nicely. And then again, cover it over with a good amount of vermiculite, and that vermiculite goes over the top like so. And again, put your label on, Baptisia australis, date 17th 11th 21, and that can then get pushed firmly down into the bottom of the pot like so. Another little tap and it's all there. And then it's the same with the Gillenia, and you can label before you actually put the stuff in. And then I've got Adenophora as well. So these are all exactly the same. The Gillenia didn't clean up as well as I had hoped, but it's the time for it to be sown. So with that, I'm going to do let's just tip it all in, and then we'll move it around and make the seed nicely spaced out. That's probably a cheating way of doing it, but who cares? Make your life easy. I can't stand this fact of doing everything in another way. So those are all nicely spaced. Again, nice depth of vermiculite over the top of the seed, and then they are all ready to go over and do. Now the last one, which is the Adenophora pereskiifolia, the seed is absolutely tiny. It really is quite small and very, very fine. So this you will have to try and be very, very good at actually getting it down the channel of the bag or the envelope that you've got, and just tap at the end, because that's the other way of doing it. You know, it won't all come out at once, and tap. If you can't see the seed and you find it very, very difficult to see this fine seed, then you can add in something like sand, but make sure it's washed sand, so that when you've shaken it up with the sand, you can see where it's actually gone on the top, because now you can't see. There's actually a lot of seed in there. But that won't matter. And then again, a covering of vermiculite. This is quite fine, so you want to make sure it's covered. There's a little bit of compost still showing, so you haven't got the depth that you require of the vermiculite. Your vermiculite is going to the point where it is just about at the top of your containers. Now, what you can do with all of this is you can have a larger tray. And it's quite handy. Use one of the larger trays, put all of your bits and pieces in like so, and you could fit in another couple of pots in here, or you could put something else, and then that is nice and easy to carry over to do your watering. So hopefully that's given you some idea about doing your seed sowing. There are some seeds that don't require covering. You will just have to look that up. The information is out there in seed sowing. Usually when it's much finer, they sometimes don't like it. And if your seedlings don't germinate straight away, don't panic. Some seed doesn't germinate straight away. And just leave it either in the warmth, or go and put it outside into a cold frame so that it can get a little bit of cold weather, winter weather, and then you may find in the spring, when it warms up again, the light levels, suddenly all of your pots start to germinate. And that's such a wonderful feeling to see that you've sown seed and you get these wonderful seedlings coming through. Our seeds are now ready for watering. And I like to water with a watering can with the rows pointing down like this, but always start your watering over so that you can get a nice flow of water going over the top of the plant material that you are watering. Now this is where you can see, and then stop there, because as you saw, as I stopped the watering can, it dribbled and made a horrible big splash. If that had been on here, all of that would have pinged out and gone out of there completely. Now you can lift these and see how much heavier they are than when you started off, and you will find that you've got quite a lot of water in there. I would then leave them for about 10 or 15 minutes, give them another small water, and then go and put them where you want them to be. That will have given the compost time to have absorbed all the water that you've got there, and it will all work really nicely for you. Thank you very much for watching the videos. Please do subscribe to the channel. Thank you.